Hello and welcome to Unacademy, a one-stop destination for all the English medium civil service aspirants. Welcome to another session of Economy Explained. And in this session, let's try and understand what is this scheme announced by the Government of India, wherein we are allowing the import of electric vehicles, passenger electric cars at lower custom rates in India or customs duties in India. And with this policy, will it be the end of India's electric vehicle manufacturers? Will this policy kill the domestic manufacturers? Before we start the discussion, a very important announcement. One issue that most of the UPSC aspirants face is how to prepare for current affairs. Do not worry, we at Unacademy are very happy to announce the initiative of UCAN, Unacademy's Current Affairs Navigator, wherein the subject faculties or respective subject faculties will be taking current affairs classes for the students. This will be a one-stop destination for the current affairs covering various newspaper articles, articles from PIB, Yojana, Kurukshetra, Down to Earth, Economic and Political Weekly. The classes will be held 4 days a week, starting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Timing is 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. If you are interested, please check out the details. Click on the link given in the descriptive section. Now let me start the discussion. But before that, have a look at the question. Please have a look at the MCQ here. Do not solve it. We will solve it at the end of the session. Consider the following statements regarding the new scheme to promote electric passenger cars in India. Statement 1, Statement 2, and based on this, you will have to find out which is the right option. We will come to this, don't worry. Let me start with the basics here. Government of India allows import of electric cars. Point number 1. It allows import of electric cars. But whenever you talk about electric cars, please understand there are two ways it can be imported. One, we call it as a knockdown import, completely knocked down, CKD, completely knocked down import. Second one is completely built up unit, completely built up unit. So completely knocked down, they will call this as CKD, and completely built up unit, they will call this as CBU. So the electric cars can be imported in two ways. One is CKD, second one is CBU. Whenever you import in the form of CKD, what does it mean? The parts will be imported and the assembly will be done in India. This is called as CKD, and the tax rate, that is the customs or duties that is applicable, will be 15%. And if you import it as a completely built up unit, completely the car is imported, again there are two taxes applicable. If the car value is up to $40,000, up to $40,000, the tax rate or the customs applicable is 70%. And if it is more than $40,000, more than $40,000, the customs applicable is 100%. So until very recently, this was basically the way the imports were allowed and the taxes which were applicable in case of India. Now, Government of India in the last couple of years has been promoting manufacturing, sales as well as the consumption of electric vehicles. It could be two-wheeler, it could be three-wheeler, it could be four-wheelers, it could be even larger buses and other vehicles as well. Now, in order to promote the manufacturing in India, what Government of India has done is, it has come out with a new policy, the new scheme to promote manufacturing of passenger electric cars in India. Now, what are the important points in this scheme? Please understand this very carefully. Point number 1. Any manufacturer, whether it is a manufacturer from country X, Y, Z, does not matter. Now they are allowed to come into India and invest and manufacture electric vehicles. But please understand, as it was demanded by many manufacturers, many global manufacturers, for example Tesla, they were demanding a lowering of a tariff, customs on their cars. They were demanding that Government of India should reduce the tariff, customs, so that first they will bring the cars in India, sell them in the market. So Government of India says, okay then, if you want to be covered under the scheme, I will reduce the customs applicable on the cars when you import it into India to 15%, but with a condition. The condition is the value of the car should not be more than $35,000. The value of the car should not be more than $35,000. So the tax rate will be reduced to 15%. Point number one. Point number two, the company now which will start getting the benefit, which will start availing the benefit of lower customs duties, they will have to tell the government of India, this is a condition by the way, they will have to tell the government of India that they will invest and set up a manufacturing facility in the next 3 years. In the next 3 years, they will have to set up a manufacturing facility within the domestic market, that is within India. And not just this, the investment, there is an investment criteria as well. So the investment they will have to do is 4,150 crore rupees, or else in terms of dollars, it will be $500 million. $500 million. Point number four, how many cars they are allowed to import at 15% then? How many cars they are allowed to import? They will be allowed to import up to 8,000 units in 1 year for 5 years, right? The duration is 5 years. So 5 years they will be allowed to import 8,000 units per year, per annum. Now some of you will say, sir, what if I am not able to import 8,000 cars? Will there be a carryover? Will that the shortage, whatever is less than 8,000 this year, will I be allowed to import additional number of units next year? Government says carryover is allowed. Carryover will be allowed to the next year. So these are certain very important provisions, important points associated with the new policy of Government of India. Look at the policy, you will realize that under this policy, government says for 5 years, you import it at lower tariff. You pay less customs duty, import and sell. But during that duration, in the first 3 years, please set up a manufacturing facility in India. Set up a manufacturing facility. Investment is not a small amount, 4,150 crore rupees. That's a very, very huge amount. And annually, you are allowed to import up to 8,000 cars into India and sell it. But having said so, please understand one more very important point. The conditionality is that whichever company wants to avail this offer, whichever company wants to use this, they will have to provide a bank guarantee to the government. They will have to provide a bank guarantee. And in essence, the company will approach a bank, provide certain security amount to the bank, and the bank will provide guarantees to the government. Right? That is, company will take the guarantee of the bank and give it to the government. And if the company is not able to meet the conditions, whatever benefits they have received, that amount will be withheld. The bank guarantees will be used by the government now. So that is very important point, conditionality associated with the scheme. Are these the only conditions? No. Sixth very important condition. The company which wants to avail the benefit here, the revenue of this company should not be less than 10,000 crore rupees. Revenue of the company should not be less than 10,000 crore. And seventh very important point, please make a note of this. There is a policy of Government of India, FDI policy, which was announced in 2022. Under this FDI policy, government says any foreign company which comes from a country which shares border with India. I'll repeat my statement. According to the FDI guidelines now, any foreign company which comes from a country which shares border with India, they will have to take approval of the government. They will have to take compulsorily approval of the government to invest in India. That is also the important condition related to the scheme. Be very careful. Now, having said so, what are we trying to achieve? What are the objectives of the scheme? What are we trying to achieve using this scheme? Let's go one by one. Point number one, we are expecting huge amount of investment. We are expecting huge amount of investment from many foreign companies, including Tesla, to be invested in India. Point number two, with foreign companies showing interest, setting up manufacturing facilities in India, there will be a demand, there will be a rising demand of these kind of passenger electric cars in India. It will be developing, that is, India will be developing to become a manufacturing hub, employment generation will happen, etc., etc. So these are some of the outcomes that we are expecting from this policy or this scheme of Government of India. But having said so, are there any concerns? Are there any issues associated with this policy? Of course, yes. Point number 1, listen very carefully. Government of India wants the foreign companies to invest at least 4,150 crore rupees under this initiative. The maximum amount of investment that has been done by a foreign electric vehicle passenger car manufacturer in India is done by Benz car. That is the Benz company. And the amount that the Benz company so far has invested in India is 2,800 crore rupees. And it has been there in India for more than 25 years. It's there in India for more than 25 years. In fact, the same company earlier announced that the total amount of investment they'll be taking to 3,000 crore rupees this year. So many experts feel this is very ambitious. Many companies may not be able to meet this condition. Second condition is, government says you will have to set up a manufacturing facility in the next 3 years in India. Local facility has to be set up. The biggest problem in case of promotion of any kind of infrastructure in India has been land acquisition. So is it guaranteed that the companies will be able to acquire sufficient amount of land in India within 3 years, also set up manufacturing facility in India within that time period? This only the time will tell. Many experts feel this might become one more issue where the companies might become very optimistic today, right? Agree to invest, start getting the benefit, take the bank guarantee, give it to the government. But because of the land acquisition issue, they might delay establishing the manufacturing facility, and that might basically affect their investments in India. That is one more concern associated with electric car policy of Government of India. Third one, you are seeing that government wants to promote manufacturing of electric vehicles. But please understand, many of these electric vehicles that are interested to invest such a huge amount, they will not be producing the electric cars or the passenger cars which can be afforded by a common man in India. These will start manufacturing, let's say, luxury electric vehicles. They may not be affordable to a very great extent by the common man. These are some of the concerns. Now coming to the question that you might be having in your mind. Sir, please tell me, will it kill the domestic market? Will the entry of Tesla, because that is the basic discussion, that has been the focal point of discussion in many places now. Will the entry of Tesla, will it kill domestic market? Many experts do not believe that the entry of Tesla, or for that matter many other competitors under this scheme, will be killing the domestic market. What they believe is, over a period of time, in a longer duration, over a period of time, no doubt the whole Indian economy will get the benefit of this initiative. But currently, in case of India, please understand, more than 95% of electric cars which have been sold, I repeat, more than 95% of the electric cars which have been sold are priced at below 30 lakh rupees. And the lowest model that the Tesla will sell, if you convert that into Indian rupees, will be at least 35 lakh rupees. So even if the Tesla will enter into Indian market, it is not going to manufacture and sell, or even if they import and sell, they are not going to import a cheaper version than this. The minimum price will be at least 35 lakh rupees. It is not going to be competitive to other smaller manufacturers who account for more than 95% of electric vehicles or electric passenger cars sold in India. That is point number 1. Point number 2, these car manufacturers, as already mentioned, these car manufacturers, they are going to be focused on SUVs. They are going to be focused on luxury cars. And the luxury car market is very, very small in India. Again, specifically talking about electric vehicles. I hope you understand. Luxury car market is there. But within that, if you talk about, let's say, electric vehicle luxury car market, that is a much smaller market. So there is a concern that the foreign companies might look at it and they may not be interested over a period of time looking at this, a very small market, and the investments might be affected. And even if they bring in the investment, that will not be hurting the other domestic manufacturers in the Indian economy, or let's say the electric vehicle segment in India. So these are certain very important points related to the policy of Government of India, which has been announced very recently. Now based on this, let's solve the question. Consider the following statements regarding the new scheme to promote electric passenger cars in India. Under this, foreign companies from any country, underline the term any country, can participate without seeking any approval from the government. Statement is wrong. Why? I've already told you. Any foreign company that will come from the neighboring countries that will share border with India, they will have to take the approval of government. Second, all the EV cars imported under this scheme will enjoy lower tax benefit. Underline the term all EV cars. No, not all the EV cars. Those EVs that will have a price below $35,000 will get the tax benefit. Others will not be given tax benefit. Even the second statement is wrong. Right option for the question will be option D, neither 1 nor 2. So this is basically what I wanted to discuss with you people regarding the new initiative of Government of India to attract investments and promote manufacturing of electric passenger cars in India. If you like this initiative, please hit the like button, provide your valuable comments in the section below, and if you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly do it now. Thank you. Have a great day.